this shows how important the book is. Leviticus is divided into 4 sections. The first section talks about what was done inside of the tabernacle. 5 different sacrifices are offered in the tabernacle. The second section talks about who offers the sacrifices. The priest and the people together. Not just the priest, but the priest and the people together do the offering. And the third section describes when these sacrifices could and when could not be offered. And the last section describes where this can be done, where these sacrifices took place. So the book of Leviticus deals with what, who, where, and when topics of offering. A part of the second topic, which deals with who does the sacrifices in the tabernacle, deals with the steps to ordain and installing the servants who will serve inside of the tabernacle. Those who are in the position to serve others must go through these steps for ordination and the installation. And during the ordination process, God commands the servants to offer 4 different offerings of sacrifices. And they can only work as the servants for tabernacle after they offer these sacrifices. Today is the ordination and the installation of the officers. And God has bestowed upon our congregation these officers in order to serve the church and its people. Let's look closely at the 4 different sacrifices that the newly appointed officers must offer as they serve the church. And let us hope that through the words, we would also hear the God's words for us and for them as well. The first sacrifice that the officers must offer is the sin offering. When God's people offered their sacrifices, it was to cleanse their sins. However, when the priests do that, when priests offer this sin offering, it was not for cleanse or to forgive sins, but it was to keep the sanctuary, the tabernacle, clean and holy. The Bible clearly says to keep the altar clean and holy. That's why the priests who will serve the tabernacle are offering this sin offering. Keeping the altar clean and holy is the ultimate responsibility of the servants. Keeping the community of faith, church, clean and holy is the first responsibility of the officers. Because only then God's presence will be among us, enabling our community to glorify and to be united. Thus it is the responsibility of the officers with pastors to keep the community in God's words in peace without division. The officers must work hard to throw away any desires of greed, arrogance, and lies, and only seek God's words and mercy and grace in our life. Through our daily sin offering, we pray that this community of believers, our church, will become one and continue to enjoy God's presence and His grace. The second sacrifice is the burnt offering. The offering was a male bull, and it was given with the promise of loyalty and dedication to God, saying, "My life was given by you, so I give back to you, Lord, and please accept my life to use for your will." There are many stories of dogs that are loyal to their masters. When owners disappear, the master disappears, or are missing for many, many days, dogs stop eating their food. Some dies even out of the starvation because they miss their master's voice. As God's people, we need to seek out God's voice like that. Our Master, our Lord, our God, without you, I'm dying. During this ordination and installation, you are offering yourself as a burnt offering to be loyal and dedicated only to God. No matter what circumstances it tells your life, you are dedicating your life to God. You are not dedicating it to an organization or a particular person. Your loyalty is only to God. And I pray that you will only hear God's voice and seek out God's presence in your life. The third offering is the grain offering. This offering was offered to continue the good relationship with God. In New Testament, grain offering was understood as prayer lifted up to God. The grain was for the grain was not to be offered in whole grain. It was always has to be broken and crushed before you offer. This means that burnt offering, through the prayer, you must demolish your own greed and your ego must be crumbled. God tells his workers not to mix grain offering with the yeast or honey. Yeast symbolizes the rising of our pride and self-glorification. And honey symbolizes our own pleasure. We only glorify our God and boast his name only through our service. We are serving God not to please ourselves, but to please God only. The reason for our serving is to make God pleased. And we pray that your appointed deacons and elders will give this burnt offering prayer every day and glorify God's name only. The fourth offering is fellowship offering. In order to become a priest, the fellowship offering was a must. Only animal fats were used as an offering to God, and the remaining, all the meat and everything, was shared within the community. The fellowship offering not only shared the food with their community, but they also shared words of thanksgiving and their experience of God's blessing in their life with the community. It was a thanksgiving offering. It expresses our wish and our neighbors to receive the same grace and same blessings of God that he received. This offering was a must as a servant. This means the officers, deacons and elders, through their daily fellowship offering, must share God's grace and God's blessing with their brothers and sisters in the community. And I pray that officers will become the passage that connects and shares God's blessing with our brothers brothers and sisters in Christ. There is one unique observation in these offerings. The second, burnt offering of dedication. The third, grain offering of prayer. And the fourth, the offering of fellowship, were originally voluntary offerings for average people. These offerings were to offer only if they wanted to. But for the ordained people, these three voluntary offerings became obligatory offering. They must offer. They must offer. It is the responsibility of the officers to keep the community holy and one in God, to stay by God's side always, and to pray in order to continue the intimate relationship with Jesus Christ, and also to live a life of sharing God's blessings. Indeed, the responsibility can be hard and difficult. However, we are called as the servants to make our Father pleased. For our newly commissioned, ordained, and installed officers, we pray that you will remember the important offerings laid out in the book of Leviticus. In the name of our Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I pray and bless that you will continue to keep the church holy and united, and loyal yourself to God, and dedicate yourself to prayer and to share God's blessing with your brothers and sisters in Christ. Thanks be to God. 우리 이제 다 같이 함께